So if it is moving on a suppose circular path in a horizontal table or something, then also we require a net force toward the center of that circle. Two should be able to provide the required centripetal force, which is mv square by r or mr omega square. This is when it is a horizontal circle. This is a horizontal plane, circular motion, the horizontal plane. Then this is where the gravity has no role because this is maybe on a table or something. So the weight is balanced by the normal reaction from the table, and gravity is not playing any role. But when this is vertical circular motion, due to the work done by the gravitational force, due to work done by the gravitational force, also the energy will be changing. So if a body is tied with a string of length L maybe, and it has to move on a vertical circular path, the path will depend upon how much speed we provide at the lowest point. If we give a very little speed, it may be moving like a pendulum. Pendulum goes to a certain height and then comes back, and it start oscillating. SHM not guaranteed, but oscillation is guaranteed. Difference between SHM and oscillation is, in oscillation the motion is repeated to and fro, and in SHM the acceleration has to be directly proportional to opposite of displacement. So alpha should be minus of theta, and that is only for a very small angle. Small angle के लिए sin theta theta के equal हो जाता है. So if it is less than 10 degree or so, then only we'll call it as SHM. Otherwise, it is an oscillatory motion. अभी ये circular motion नहीं करेगा. It will move to a certain height, and the maximum height will become zero. And how much height it goes by the energy conservation, kinetic energy at a, and like suppose if we give it a speed of equal to root of gr. At the lowest point, if we provide the speed, which is just equal to root g times r, where r is the radius of that circle. Find the maximum height, or find the maximum angle where it goes. Maximum max height above the ground. So at the maximum height, velocity will become zero. Momentarily, it will be at rest, and from there it will start coming back. So kinetic at A plus potential at A is equal to kinetic at B plus potential at B. Kinetic at A is half mu square. Potential at A is zero, assuming the lowest position to be at zero potential energy, and kinetic at B is zero plus potential energy is mgh. So we can calculate from here. H will come out r by 2. H is equal to r by 2, so accordingly we can calculate theta. Theta will be 60 degrees. So it depends upon the vertical circular motion. How much path is being completed will depend upon the speed given at the lowest point. Right. So suppose if we want this to reach to the maximum, to at least the horizontal level, then we have to provide a speed. What speed we should provide so that it reaches just horizontal position from point A to point B. So that is how much?
So root 3gr, I think.
Don't think, because your thinking is wrong. So let's calculate. A to B इसीलिए think नहीं करना है. It is physics, not memory based subject. Kinetic energy at A is half mu square. Potential energy A is 0. Kinetic energy at B is 0. Potential energy is mg into h, and h is equal to r. So here m gone. You will be root 2gr. So अगर हम lowest point पे root 2gr की speed provide करते हैं, then this string can become horizontal. This particle will go up to the horizontal level. Right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now suppose if we want to give if you want this to reach on the upper height to the maximum vertical height, so third is provide what is the speed required so that the string becomes vertical. String become vertical means just reaching on the vertical position, its velocity will be 0, And if velocity is 0, then it cannot move again on a circular path. It will start freely falling from there. It will start free fall from there. So again, kinetic energy at A plus potential energy at A will be equal to kinetic at B plus potential at B. So these are the some standard condition. कितनी स्पीड देगी स्ट्रिंग हॉरिजॉन्टल हो जाए, कितनी स्पीड देगी स्ट्रिंग वर्टिकल हो जाए. बट वर्टिकल होने के बाद ये just reaches maximum height, means the string is becoming vertical, and from there it will cannot continue, so it will then fall along the diameter under gravity, free fall under gravity. Just reaches the maximum height. Maximum height is this point B. Kinetic at A plus potential at A is equal to kinetic at B plus potential at B. A पे kinetic half mu square, A पे potential is 0, B पे kinetic 0, and potential become mg into h, h is 2r.
2 root gr.
2 root gr, right, or root 4 gr. So when this speed given is root 4 gr, which is again 2 root gr, this string becomes vertical, और vertical के बाद वो वहाँ पहुँच के it start directly free fall along the diameter. If in between root 2 gr and root 3 gr, then it will be somewhere between the two position. It will go above the horizontal level, but it will not be able to reach the vertical level. So what happens is somewhere in between, before velocity becoming 0, the tension in the string becomes 0, and that means it will leave the path of the circle. When speed given is greater than root 2 gr but less than root 4 gr. So in that case, the particle leaves the circle in the upper half of the circular path. Leaves the circular path in upper half. In upper half of the circle. So that means what? Speed has not become 0, but tension has already become 0. So that means string will become slack. And if the string has become slack, which means the particle cannot continue without that. So here, let's say point A to point B, it has not lost its energy, kinetic energy. It's not velocity is not becoming 0. But beyond this point, the particle cannot continue on the circular path because the string has become slack. Tension has become 0 just at point B. Tension is becoming 0. Velocity is there, but still, so we cannot say that this is the maximum height, because above this point B, also this particle will continue moving like a projectile. So from this B to C, again it will be moving further up. So we can calculate total maximum height above the initial point. It has to be A to C. At point B, it leaves the circular path, but after that also it is moving upward like a projectile motion. So it continues going upward, and when we calculate the maximum height of a projectile, we add it from A to B. So let's say for an example, if u is equal to root 3 gr, at the lowest point हमने root 2 gr और root 4 gr के बीच में, and find the height where particle leaves the circle, and find the maximum height above the point of friction. And max height above the surface. So let's say from vertical at an angle theta, it leaves at an angle theta from vertical, so this will also become theta. At point V, since the particle is leaving the circle, so tension is not available there. Tension becomes 0 as the string becomes slack. So mg is downward. Mg cos theta is the force that is acting toward the center. Mg cos theta will be equal to mv square by r. Centripetal force is must condition, necessary condition for any particle to move on a circle. mg cos theta is equal to mv square by r.
वो भी करेगी ना एनर्जी वेट.
फिर से बोलो क्या कह रहे हो?
कुछ नहीं सर, मैं कह रहा हूँ एनर्जी भी इक्वेट कर देगी.
हाँ, सेकंड इक्वेशन बनाएंगे एनर्जी कंजर्वेशन की. सो टू सॉल्व द वर्टिकल सर्कुलर मोशन क्वेश्चन वी हैव दीस टू इक्वेशंस. वन इज द इक्वेशन फॉर सेंट्रिपेटल फोर्स, another will be equation for mechanical energy conservation. तो इसमें ये हाइपोटेनस हो गया r, बेस की वैल्यू आ जाएगी r cos theta. So the height above the initial point of projection is r plus r cos theta, the total height. So now apply the energy conservation. Kinetic energy at A plus potential at A is kinetic at A P plus potential at B, and we can apply that. Kinetic at A plus potential at A is equal to kinetic at B plus potential at B. It is half mu square, potential energy is 0. Kinetic energy at B is half mv square, potential energy is mg into r times 1 plus cos. So half mu is known, it's root 3 gr. B we calculated in terms of r and cos theta, it comes out to be root gr cos theta plus mgr into 1 plus cos theta. mgr gone. 3 by 2 is equal to 1 upon 2 cos theta plus 1 plus cos theta. 1 by 2 is 3 by 2 cos theta, so cos theta becomes 1 by 3. This is the position. The angle from vertical at which the particle leaves the circle is cos inverse 1 by 3. And the height above the initial point of projection where it leaves, h is equal to r plus r cos theta. The height above the ground where the particle leaves the circle is r plus r by 3, so that is 4r by 3. Height above the horizontal, above the lowest point where it leaves the circle. Right, next comes what is the maximum height obtained by this projectile. So particle is leaving at B but instead is continuing in the upward direction. So we have to add the maximum height of that projectile in this height where it leaves the circle. So if it is leaving the circle at a height of 4r by 3, that path we just draw it again. So here the particle is leaving the circle with a speed of v that we have calculated because we already have the value of theta. Here it is theta, theta. So theta 90 minus theta, this becomes theta again. And beyond this, it is like a projectile. So it is like a projectile. और projectile की maximum height का formula होता है v square sin square theta by 2g. So it will be like a projectile. The height of projectile that we can add here is p squared sin square theta upon 2g. Let's say it is h1. H1 is the height above point V, the maximum height above point V that it has covered. So substitute the value of theta because we already derived cos theta is 1 by 3. V is root g r times cos theta, so V become root gr by 3. Square करेंगे तो आ जाएगा gr by 3. Sin square theta is 1 minus cos square theta divided by 2g. G gone. R into much? This becomes r by 3 into 2 into 8 by 9. So 4r by 27. I hope calculation is correct. Please check. The total maximum height above the point of projection was r plus r cos theta. ये तो point B तक था और उसके बाद हमने ऊपर का ये ऐड कर लिया. So that is 4r by 27. r plus r by 3 plus 4r by 27. whatever answer we'll put it here. So ये हम vertical circular motion को part by part analyze कर रहे हैं from the lowest point of the speed given at the lowest point. If speed given is less than root 2 gr, it will be oscillating like a pendulum. If you give root 2 gr, it become horizontal and then come back. It will follow a semicircular path. Greater than root 2 gr, less than root 4 gr, it will be going in the upper half of the circuit, but upper half of the circle, but without velocity becoming zero, the tension will become zero, and tension zero means string becomes slack. String becomes slack means the particle will leave the circular path. It will be moving under gravity like a projectile motion.
Forty R by 27.
40 R by 27. Okay. Everyone got this answer? Yes, 40 R by 27. Next is to complete the circle. To complete the circle. Next concept is to just complete this vertical circular motion. What should be the speed at the lowest point? The speed that should be given at the lowest point, it should be such that the particle is completing the circle. So to complete the circle at every point, there should be some centripetal force. Centripetal force means there must be some speed which should be provided by its corresponding centripetal force. So maximum height पे कुछ speed होनी चाहिए, though it has to be minimum speed. Minimum speed means the centripetal force is also minimum. At point A, the energy has to be given. So now we have to calculate this U so that particle can complete the circle. At the maximum point B पे string should be taut enough, but just while crossing this point B, जिसमें नीचे force लग रहा होगा total, that will be T plus mg. Tension is downward, mg is downward. So at point B, tension plus mg, that provides the required centripetal force. But since we are saying it has to be the minimum possible speed, so the minimum possible centripetal force, mg cannot change, so tension has to be minimum value. For critical speed or minimum speed at the maximum height, the tension value should become 0. Tension is 0 means mg should be equal to mv square by r, v should be root gr. V is equal to root gr. Now we got the speed at point B, then we can calculate at point A by using the energy conservation, r plus r. So maximum height per, if a particle is just completing the vertical circle, then the maximum height, it is also called as critical speed. If the speed become less than this, then it will fall like a projectile. Now apply the energy conservation. Kinetic at A plus potential at A is equal to kinetic at B plus potential at half mu square. Potential is 0. Half mv square, and potential energy is mg times 2r. So now we already have got the value of V, half mgr plus 2 mgr, which become 5 by 2 mgr. The speed which is required at the lowest point to complete the vertical circular motion is root 5 gr. Minimum speed has to be root 5 gr, and that is just the critical condition when a particle is moving on a circular path, vertical circular path. So there are a few more possibilities, like एक तो ये string का case हो गया. Second is if suppose on the inner surface of any spherical groove, if a ball is projected, with what speed it should be projected so that it can complete the circle? Same. It has to be at least root 5 gr, then only it will be able to complete the circle. This is another case. But suppose if it is a particle which is attached to a massless rod, not to a string. अभी हम जो cases कर रहे थे उसमें string था, या फिर second case में this is the ball on the inner surface of a sphere. Now we are talking about a massless rod of same length, maybe r, hinged at one end और दूसरे end पे हमने एक ball लगा दी है which is maybe welded. Now what should be the minimum speed provided so that it can complete the circle? That minimum speed is root. That minimum speed is how much? ये हमें calculate करना है minimum speed. Second case is a massless rod. Massless rod का मतलब क्या हुआ कि even when the particle reaches the maximum height and velocity becomes zero, so like in the previous case, if the maximum height velocity is zero, it starts going vertically downwards like under the gravity. Correct? But in this case, even though velocity becomes zero, it cannot go down since rod can provide compressive tension also. It cannot become slag in simple word. So even when the velocity at the maximum height is becoming zero, the rod cannot compress, rod cannot become slack like the string does, and it will continue moving on the circle. So इसके लिए जो speed चाहिए, that is not root 5 that is just sufficient to reach the maximum height. If it is not a string, it is a rod. So you have to be careful because such questions come. Usually we learn that it has to be root 5 but that depends upon the condition. So if the particle has danger of falling at the maximum height when velocity becomes zero, like here also. In the previous case, when a ball is on the inner surface of a sphere, maximum height पे अगर velocity zero होगी, then it start falling vertically downwards. Therefore, it will be again not continuing the circular path. So we have to check whether the body is restricted, whether it can sustain the zero velocity at maximum height or not. If it can, then the lowest speed required is root 4 gr. If it cannot, it becomes slack or free, then it is root 5 gr. Got it? Right. So these are the conditions for which. Now second type of question comes, find the tension. So find the tension if suppose this, this is a string attached with a bob of very small mass m. The lowest point we give a speed as, let's say, root 7 gr. Find the tension in the string at point A, at point B, which is making an angle 60 degree, at point C, and at point D, maybe just. So we'll do one or two, rest you will understand how to do. Find the tension in the string at the point as shown. Find the tensions in the string at point A, B, C, and D. So these two type of questions come in the vertical circular motion, whether what is the speed required to complete or a speed at different point, and second that it requires what is the tension. So हम point A पे tension calculate करेंगे, then we have to draw the forces. Tension vertically upwards, mg vertically downwards. Since it is moving on a circle, net force toward the circle, center of the circle should be mv square by r. So we substitute the value, tension at point A, TA suppose, it comes out mg plus 7 mg, so that is 8 times mg. When you have to calculate point B, so for that first we need to calculate the speed at point B, because in the terms of the speed only we can write centripetal force. In terms of centripetal force only we can calculate the energy. So there is a tension at point B, mg vertically downwards, V60. So जब हम B के लिए calculate करेंगे, tension at point B minus mg cos 60, that is the centripetal force equation, that will become mv square by r. Another equation is kinetic energy at A plus potential energy at A is kinetic at B plus potential at B. So says these are the two equations that we will be using, which is sum of kinetic energy and potential energy is constant. So A पे kinetic energy is half m into 7 gr, potential energy is 0, kinetic energy is half mvp square plus potential energy is mg into r cos 60. r minus r cos 60. This become r cos 60, so r by 2. This height till point B will also be r by 2. So half gone. MVB square is equal to 6 times mgr. We can substitute here TB minus mg by 2. MVB square by r की value आ जाएगी 6 times mg. So tension at point B is 6 mg plus mg by 2. That become 13 mg by 2. Likewise, we can calculate point C and point D. You will do in homework. These two type of questions are there in the vertical circular motion. First is finding the speed, and second is finding the tension at certain different point on the vertical circular motion. Right? Okay. So one or two question I think we did last class also. Work power energy 1 dpp I shared, that was on the next one I'm sharing. This is for the again similar type, but it is for the need. Questions are more or less same. Yeah. So हम tension calculate कर सकते हैं. We can calculate the speed at every point. That is the concept of vertical circular motion. So when a particle moves on a circle, there is also a tangential acceleration or retardation, like in some objective question that has also been asked. Let's say this uh, particle has mass m is equal to 10 kg. It is moving on a circular path. At point P, what is its tangential acceleration? It is a non-uniform circular motion. Non-uniform circular motion because there is tangential speed is changing with time. If the speed remains constant, only direction changes, then we call it uniform circular motion. So find the tangential acceleration at at point B. दो तरह के acceleration चाहिए circular motion के लिए. One is centripetal, another is tangential. Centripetal is toward the center, and that must be v square by r. So here, what is it? What is the tangential retardation, acceleration or retardation, whatever? Yes, anyone? Tangential retardation या tangential acceleration के लिए हम क्या करेंगे? पहले perpendicular और tangential components को resolve कर लेते हैं. So this is T, mg. These are the two forces. इन्हीं का resultant जो है center की तरफ, that provides the centripetal force. So T minus mg cos 60. T minus mg cos 60. This provides centripetal force. और जो दूसरा कंपोनेंट आएगा mg का, that is mg sin 60. mg sin 60 is opposite to the tangential velocity. So tangential retardation is g sin 60. This is the velocity, this is the acceleration which is opposite to the tangential velocity. So it is tangential retardation, and due to this only the speed keeps on slowing down. Right. So vertical circular motion mein, that's it. These are the possible type of questions. Every question can be solved with these two equations. First was the centrifugal force, another was the energy. अब उसी में कुछ collision हो जाए, that particles are colliding first, then moving on a circular path. Right. Okay. So next is collisions. Collision is a phenomena in which two bodies interact for a short period of time, but they changes their momentum suddenly, and due to that sudden change in momentum, the motion, the momentum of the system remains same, but each and every particle motion will be slightly changed or disturbed. Collision is when a large impact force acting for a short period of time, there's a sudden change in momentum, and that phenomena is called collision. And sudden change in momentum is usually caused by the impulsive force. So during collision, that condition is required, that there must be some impulsive force acting for a short period of time. Based on the direction of collision, based on the material under collision, we classify into different categories. First one is head-on collision based on the direction. Head-on collision का मतलब जब दो bodies मूव ऐसे करें कि उनकी वेलोसिटी सेंटर्स को ज्वाइन करने वाली लाइन के लॉन्ग है, विद द वेलोसिटी ऑफ ईच पार्टिकल इज along the line joining their center, m2 u2. These two bodies are going to collide. For the collision, the most basic condition is कि पीछे वाले की velocity ज्यादा होनी चाहिए. That is the first requirement. So which means A is approaching B, and that relative velocity of approach is u relative will be u1 minus u2. That is called relative velocity of approach. Then at the time of collision, there will be some collision. During the collision, they kind of deshape each other. During that time, there will be some loss of kinetic energy, but force-wise, equal and opposite force will be always there due to the Newton's third law, and net force in the system will become zero. If net force has become zero, that means that simply means the momentum must remain conserved. Now m1 has acquired velocity v1, m2 has acquired velocity v2. So initial before collision and after collision, it is going to before collision and after collision, the total momentum before and after collision will remain same, right? Because the net force is zero and it is the head-on collision, so there's no other component, only in the direction of collision. This direction in which the force acts is called direction of collision. Total initial momentum, total final momentum has to be equal. But after the collision, क्योंकि जो B था second particle, इस पे force लगा है velocity के direction में, so that velocity will increase, and on first particle the force is opposite to velocity, so it will provide the negative impulse or retardation kind of thing, so its velocity will decrease. Collision के पहले u1 बड़ा था u2 से, collision के बाद v2 बड़ा हो जाएगा v1 से, so now it is getting separated. m2 is moving faster, so it is getting separated from m1 with a speed of v2 minus v1. V relative is v2 minus v1. Now we need to find this. So there are two variables. Suppose हमें initial speeds पता है, initial उनके masses पता है, but still we have to find the other equation is required. There are two variables, two equation, but the other equation is still missing. That so one equation is that based on the type of material, if it is a rigid material, elastic material, then total energy before and after remains conserved. Now that total energy is conserved. Based on that, we will count only for the elastic collision. That's why another equation that is written, it is in terms of the ratio of relative velocity of separation to relative velocity of approach. So the nature of collision is represented by another coefficient, another constant called as coefficient of restitution. Nature of collision is decided by or governed by, represented by the coefficient of restitution E. Coefficient of restitution is equal to relative velocity of separation divided by relative velocity of approach. और ये इक्वेशन कहाँ से कुछ एनर्जी को यूज करके है, बट एनर्जी इक्वेशन वी विल नेवर यूज फॉर द कैलकुलेशन पर्पस बिकॉज दैट हैज वेरी लिमिटेड एप्लीकेशन. And if you say energy conservation, that is also an incorrect statement because energy does not remain conserved even for elastic. What is conserved is total mechanical energy during the time of collision. Okay, we'll come to that. First, coefficient of restitution समझ लेते हैं. Velocity of separation, and all these equations are in vector form. Vector form means we have assumed that velocities are in the same direction. Here u1, u2 and v1, v2, they are in the same direction. So v2 minus v1 divided by u1 minus u2, that is the ratio. If suppose after the collision the first particle has reversed the path, so we will put u1 with a minus sign, v1 with a minus sign. So the second equation that we will always make is relative velocity of separation is E times relative velocity of approach. E will be depending upon the type of bodies colliding under. E is equal to 1 for perfectly elastic collision. Elastic collision is under the rigid bodies, which on collision there is no deformation at all. E will be less than 1, greater than 0 for semi-elastic collision. Semi-elastic is like the rubber and all. So it has somewhat deformation during the collision. After the collision, the bodies are slightly deformed. So in that deformation, some amount of energy will be utilized. Energy will not be saved. Only for elastic collision, the final kinetic energy is equal to initial kinetic energy. But again, this should not be understood as conservation of kinetic energy. Mechanical energy तो anyways conserve ही रहेगी, but kinetic energy is not conserved during the time of collision of these two balls. The some part of kinetic energy is converted into potential energy also. So if you say that kinetic energy is conserved, that is incorrect. Kinetic energy is not conserved. Kinetic energy is initial before collision and after collision is same. That comes out equal same because of the energy again converted back into the kinetic energy. Semi-elastic collision, there will be some loss, and that loss we can always calculate in terms of initial kinetic energy and minus final kinetic energy of the system. And E is equal to 0 is for inelastic. Inelastic collision means there is a maximum loss, the permanent deformation, two bodies comes, collide. E is equal to 0 means the relative velocity of separation has become 0. Both the bodies are moving together as one single mass. So this will be the two equations that we will be using to solve the question. First is conservation of momentum. So एक तो conservation of momentum की equation आएगी, which is always true for all the type of collision, whether it is elastic, inelastic, semi-elastic, because net force is always going to 0 according to Newton's third law. M1 U1 plus M2 U2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. The second equation is that is the velocity of separation. So velocity of separation is V2 minus V1 is equal to E times velocity of approach. These will be these two equations that we will be solving to find final velocity in during any collision. Right, so let's do one quizzes, some questions based on this. Okay, so I'm taking the questions from the book only, the previous questions that have been asked. It says that a particle of mass A collides elastically, perfectly elastically with the another identical particle. With the another particle of mass B, which is at rest. Particle A makes perfectly elastic collision with the another. So collision is perfectly elastic, and the second body is in a state of rest. It says that after collision, they fly apart in opposite direction with equal speed. After the collision, they fly apart in opposite direction with equal speed. So they have to have equal speed but in opposite direction. And it says that find the ratio of MA to MB. Find MA by MB. This is a previous year, one of the previous year question only. So initial momentum has to be final momentum. That is the first equation. Second equation, velocity of approach is equal to velocity of separation, because here it is an elastic collision. Elastic collision E is 1. E is 1 means relative velocity of separation will be equal to relative velocity of approach. So पहली equation तो आ गई momentum की. Initial momentum ma times u. Final momentum is mb into v and minus ma times u. So mass of A times U is equal to mb minus ma times v. And second is the velocity of separation. तो इसमें क्योंकि opposite direction में जा रहा है, so relative velocity of separation will be equal to relative velocity of approach. 2v is equal to u. So we can substitute u as 2v. ma times 2v is equal to mb minus ma times v, and then we can got ma by mb is 1 by 3. तो ये एक सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन था, बट हाँ प्रीवियस ईयर में आया हुआ है, so that's why I took. Next case is so some specific examples like collision with a wall, collision with identical masses, and head-on collision with the identical masses. Head-on elastic collision, head-on collision with wall or infinite mass. Infinite mass is wall. So for example, if this is a wall and the body is going to collide, so again wall will exert force and same force will be applied on the particle as well. But the force that is acting on this wall will not be making much impact on its momentum. So we can assume that wall is almost stationary, same as the initial state. But since the collision is perfectly elastic, so velocity of approach and velocity of separation has to be equal. So which means the ball will be moving in exactly opposite direction. Now if you see the momentum conservation, it seems that the momentum is not conserved, क्योंकि wall पहले भी rest में थी और wall अभी भी rest में है, but the ball it become plus mu2 minus mu. So if we say momentum is conserved, momentum ball is not conserved. If we say momentum of system is conserved, yes, if we include a very negligibly small velocity acquired by this wall, then only we can say that it is going to be it is conserved. So in this case, it is impulse. Impulse is provided by that impulsive force. Like in the previous cases also, if we have to find the impulse, इसमें m1 ने m2 पे impulse लगाया, m2 ने m1 पे impulse लगाया, so impulse provided m2 पे impulse कितना आएगा? Impulse is change in momentum, m2 into v2 minus u2. So likewise there in any collision question, in every collision question, it is just right. Correct. So similarly, we can find the impulse on M1 और दोनों पे impulse की जो value आएगी वो exactly equal and opposite. If this collision is not perfectly elastic, for the elastic collision, it is coming back with the same speed. For perfectly elastic collision, if suppose this collision is semi-elastic or it is also written as inelastic. Semi-elastic with coefficient of restitution as E, then it will come back with the same speed. Then it will come back with the E times speed, which was, if it is colliding with the speed U, it will come back with the speed of E times U. The velocity of collision, velocity approach is U and velocity of separation is E times U. Correct? Velocity of approach इसको हम vector wise में लिखेंगे. Velocity of approach, velocity of separation become E times velocity of approach. So similar type of question have been asked. Suppose किसी floor पे अगर हम ball को h height से drop करते हैं, after how much, let's say after third bounce, how much height it goes if the coefficient of restitution is E. So when the ball is coming under gravity, this will acquire some speed before striking the floor if it is speed of V. After collision, it will become E times V. And when it becomes E times V, E is always less than 1, so it will go lesser height. Let's say after the first impact or after the first bounce, it goes to height of h1. So V square is U square minus 2GH. H1 become E square V square by 2G and V square by 2G is H. So after each collision, the speed becomes E times and height becomes E square times. Again, it will come back. Then next time when it goes up, it become E square V and the height will become E to the power 4 times H. So that means after every collision, the speed with which it bounces back becomes E times and the height becomes E square times. After every bounce, the speed is becoming V time and height is becoming E square. So ये होगा उसी point पे. It is exactly the same height. Just for the reference, I have drawn it at different parts. So question आ चुका है that find the total distance before coming to rest. Total distance covered by this particle. It is in the first case. तो यहाँ से तो जो first part question था कि first bounce के बाद कितना height move करेगा, that is E square. Second bounce के बाद E4, third bounce के बाद E6, then E8. Every time it becomes E square. So the speed becomes E times previous speed and height becomes E square times. Height becomes E square times. So total distance covered in this whole path, पहली बार तो वो h fall करके आया था, second time में e square h ऊपर जाने में, e square h नीचे आने में, 2 times e square h plus 2 times e to the power 4h, 2 times e to the power 6h till infinity. H, then take 2 e square h common, 1 plus e square plus e4 plus e6 till infinity. जाएगा a upon 1 minus r. ये infinite term of GP summation formula a plus AR square, that is a upon 1 minus r. So here h, take h common, it will become 1 minus e square plus 2e square. So h into 1 plus e square divided by 1 minus e square. This is the total distance covered by this particle before coming to rest, and total time taken to come to rest is infinite because it will never stop, though the height will become so small that we will assume it to be like at rest. Okay, fine. So next is the oblique collision and head-on perfectly inelastic collision. The perfectly inelastic collision में two bodies comes collide and become as the same mass move together perfectly in elastic collision, and that too only for head-on case. Two bodies come collide together, and after collision they both get deformed and become as the same mass, single mass. So m1 moving with velocity u1, m2 moving with velocity u2. Again u1 होना चाहिए u2 से बड़ा. Collision के time they both get deformed and make as one single mass m1 plus m2, like a bullet going into a wooden block. It gets completely embedded, or a child running and then it jumps on a skateboard. So that is the similar cases. If it jump on a skateboard, it becomes a single mass which will be moving with the same speed. Momentum conservation is always applicable. So by using that momentum conservation, m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is velocity of combined mass is m1 u1 plus m2 u2 divided by m1 plus m2. What is the loss in energy? The loss in energy is initial minus final. Loss in kinetic energy is maximum always in the inelastic collision, and that will be initial minus final. So it is half m1 u1 square plus half m2 u2 square minus half m1 plus m2 times v square. V की वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट करके सॉल्व करने पे आ जाता है half m1 m2 divided by m1 plus m2 times u1 minus u2 whole square. This is the maximum loss in kinetic energy, or the loss in perfectly inelastic collision. Okay, next is oblique collision. Oblique collision is when the velocity of the particle is not along the line joining their center. So collision will be two dimensions. So that is also called as collision in two dimension or oblique collision. So when a body is colliding obliquely, the direction in which force is acting, only in that direction the total momentum will remain conserved, and that is called the direction of collision. So for simplicity, suppose there are two particles, एक के पास velocity है and the other one is in a state of rest, but it is not in the same line, so that their velocities are not in the same direction. m1 is coming with velocity u1 while m2 is at rest, but their velocity is not along the line joining their center. So at the time of collision, the force will be acting along the line joining their centers, but the speed that the first particle has is a different direction. This is just before the collision. So the force that will act will be along the line joining their center because it is a normal direction. Normal direction is perpendicular. So A और B दोनों में total force तो zero ही होगा. They will always get cancelled. So there are two different methods to write this equation. पहला तरीका है हम x और y में दो अलग अलग डायरेक्शन ले लेते हैं. We can consider two separate direction x and y, and then we can separately conserve the momentum in x direction and y direction. Since net force is zero, total momentum is conserved. Total momentum is conserved, so momentum will also remain conserved. right? Okay. X direction momentum, initial and final. So initial momentum is m1 u1. Final momentum के लिए we have to take the two components separately. But इसमें थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगा लें तो ये clear है. सेकेंड पार्टिकल पहले रेस्ट में था, उस पर जो भी वेलोसिटी आएगी वो इस फोर्स की वजह से आएगी. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट the force in the second particle will be along the line joining them. First particle को velocity मिलेगी v1 and which is at an angle of suppose theta1 and this is at an angle of theta2. So here we can write these two equations, the momentum conservation in x direction and y direction. Momentum conservation x direction में initial momentum and final momentum has to be equal. थोड़ा लंबा टॉपिक इसलिए हम पहले थ्योरी कर लेते हैं. क्वेश्चंस का कोई स्पेसिफिक पैटर्न नहीं है, बट some question will be solved by using the vector resolution, some will be solved by using direct energy conservation. It will depend upon question to question, but these are the concepts that we can apply. X direction में momentum conserve होगा because net force is 0. So X direction में component resolve के लिए it is v1 cos theta 1 for the first, v2 cos theta 2 for the second particle. Y direction, initially there was no velocity, so initially there was no momentum in Y direction. In Y direction there is no momentum, initially 0. Finally it is m1 v1 sin theta 1 minus m2 v2 sin theta. We can simplify these two and we can find. So ये तो दो इक्वेशन हो गए, अभी तीसरी इक्वेशन बची है हमारी, and that is the velocity of approach and velocity of separation. So जब भी हम ऐसे यूज करेंगे in such type of, the direction of collision is always taken along the direction of line joining their center. The direction of collision is along the line joining their center. Along the line joining their center, so that means it will be along this line. इस लाइन में जो इसकी वेलोसिटी पहले थी जस्ट बिफोर कोलिजन, इट्स वेलोसिटी, ये एंगल तो थीटा 2 ही होगा हॉरिजॉन्टल के साथ. इस इनिशियल वेलोसिटी विद व्हिच इट इज अप्रोचिंग इज u1 cos थीटा 2. फिर से डायग्राम बना देता हूँ क्लैरिटी के लिए. जस्ट बिफोर कोलिजन m2 रेस्ट में था, m1 के पास वेलोसिटी है u1 और ये हॉरिजॉन्टल के साथ है थीटा 2 एंगल पे. So जिस डायरेक्शन में हम कोलिजन की बात करें उस डायरेक्शन में the velocity component with which it is coming is u1 cos theta 2. In the second case, velocity है इधर v1 और v2 तो उसी डायरेक्शन में थी, v2 is along the line joining. So v2 तो सेम, ये आ गया theta 2 और इसकी velocity component करोगे तो ये theta 1 plus theta 2 suppose opposite direction में आ गया, greater than 90 degree तो opposite. Velocity of separation is v2 plus v1 cos theta 1 plus theta 2 divided by velocity of approach, so that is u1 times cos theta 2. This ratio is the relative velocity of approach. Relative velocity of separation divided by relative velocity of approach, that is defined as coefficient of restitution. So direction of collision के लिए हम हमेशा वो direction choose करेंगे जहाँ पे particles के ऊपर force लग रहा है. Right, so that is the method by which we solve. जब wall के साथ usually collision होगा. अच्छा, दूसरा तरीका क्या है? The other method is कि हम collision की direction ले लें x direction. जिस direction में collision हो रहा है that should be taken as one direction. Particle के पास जो velocity है u1 theta 2. So the component of velocity that will change because of collision is u cos theta, क्योंकि वो है दोनों को join करने वाली direction के along. u1 cos theta 1 and u1 sine theta 2. So here what we say that this component which is perpendicular to the direction of collision does not change. That velocity is not going to change. इसलिए हम m1 की velocity after collision भी इस direction में same ले लेते हैं. In the perpendicular direction, the m1 velocity is going to be u1 sine theta 2. m2 की velocity v2 और m1 की velocity suppose v1. So this is the other possible way in which we can write the momentum conservation. So momentum conservation along the direction, along the line joining their center. Momentum conservation along the line joining their centers. Initial momentum is m1 u1 cos theta 2. Final momentum is m2 v2 minus m1 v1. दूसरी इक्वेशन जो थी velocity of approach is velocity of separation. This is a second method of doing the same question but with a different approach. इसमें हमने एक डायरेक्शन ली है along the line joining them और दूसरी डायरेक्शन ली है perpendicular. Velocity of approach is u1 cos theta 2. Velocity of separation is v2 plus v1. So this is relatively a simpler equation to use. पहले equation momentum conservation की, दूसरी equation है coefficient of restitution. The velocity of approach is equal to velocity of separation. But इन सारे cases में हमने एक particle को rest में लिया हुआ था. That mostly it will be the similar case. जैसे हम किसी pool table पे ball को hit कर रहे हैं with the striker. So that ball is initially at rest and we strike it with some striker ball. Right? Special case इसमें क्या होता है अगर ये दोनों masses identical हो, if these two masses are identical and collision is perfectly elastic, then after collision they will move always perpendicular to each other. So there are some specific results, some special cases of collision for all both the type of. So पहला तो था identical masses के बीच में collision होता है, collision between identical masses. If it is a head-on elastic collision between identical masses, then what happens is their velocity vectors get exchanged. जितनी velocity से m1 चल रहा था वो m2 की हो जाएगी और जो m2 की थी वो m1 की हो जाएगी. After the collision, their velocity vectors get exchanged. So v1 or v2. After the collision, this velocity vectors will be exchanged. v1 will become u2 and v2 will become u1. Collision for elastic collision. Elastic head-on collision में उन bodies की velocities आपस में interchange हो जाती है. Velocities get interchanged. इनफाइनाइट मास के साथ हम देख चुके हैं इनफाइनाइट मास के साथ कोलिजन होगा तो डायरेक्शन रिवर्स हो जाएगी मोमेंटम mv2 माइनस mv हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट केस अगर ये आइडेंटिकल मासेस के बीच में ऑब्लिक कोलिजन है, दिस इज हेड ऑन इलास्टिक कोलिजन. In the head on elastic collision it is going to exchange their velocities. In the oblique collision oblique elastic collision between the identical masses with one of them at rest. So ये m इसमें क्या हुआ पिछले वाले में masses दोनों के same होने चाहिए. Identical का मतलब their masses are same. m1 and m2 are same mass and the collision is perfectly elastic. Second case, is that these velocities, these particles are colliding obliquely but perfectly elastic and one of the body is at rest. Masses are same, identical. This is at rest. After collision they will be moving perpendicular, v1 and v2, theta 1 and theta 2. So this will be at rest. If it was initially at rest, after collision both the blocks move perpendicular to each other. Both the blocks move perpendicular to each other. So theta 1 plus theta 2 is going to be 90 degree. Oblique collision with wall. Oblique collision with wall बस last case है, don't worry. Oblique collision अगर हम करते हैं wall के साथ तो केवल वो velocity component change होगा जो कि wall से perpendicular था. The one which is parallel to the wall will not change. So if a ball comes with velocity v, mass is m, it comes and collides. So here v cos theta is not going to be affected. V sin theta will be V cos theta will remain same. If it is a perfectly elastic collision, then V sin theta become minus V sin theta. If it is a semi-elastic collision, then the velocity component, which is parallel, again remain unchanged. This coming with velocity V at an angle theta. V cos theta will be unchanged. V sin theta will become E times V sin theta, but in opposite direction. When the collision is perfectly elastic, now it goes back with the same. So here the direction and speed both changes. Direction has changed because pehle theta angle pe tha, now it will be at alpha angle with the horizontal. So this is semi-elastic. And third is perfectly inelastic. Perfectly inelastic means when the body is colliding with the surface, the perpendicular component is completely absorbed. It does not have any perpendicular component of velocity after the collision. V cos theta will remain as it is. V sin theta will become 0. So after the collision, it does not bounce back. This is for perfectly inelastic collision when E is equal to 0. थोड़ा ये बड़ा सा टॉपिक था इसलिए मैंने इसके सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स कवर कर दिए जितने क्वेश्चंस में आते हैं. थोड़ा कम समझ आया होगा बिकॉज एग्जांपल से अच्छे से आता है. So we will do the questions based on these in the worksheet tomorrow. You can try on your own. Some questions, 4 or 5 questions we will do from the collision part. तो collision में बस आपको direction, especially the oblique collision, directions कैसे और किधर लेनी है, that is little tricky. Otherwise it's very easy. आपको दो equation बनानी है, एक momentum की और दूसरी coefficient of restitution, and those two equation will give you the final answer. Right, so this chapter is also completed. We will do the questions tomorrow on this, and we will also start the center of mass. So I'll suggest that आप एक बार वो chapters पढ़ के आया करो so that थोड़ा जल्दी समझ में आए, and we can do more questions. So the target is that before the 15th of July, we should be able to cover the most of the important topics of class 11. One chapter one day, now that will be the target, and for that you also have to revise on your own first. ठीक है, चलो. Okay, then that's it for today. We'll do the questions from here tomorrow, don't worry. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.